was supposed to be a peaceful getaway, a digital detox. Just me and my best friend Rachel, tucked away in a tiny eco-cabin in the woods of Oregon, about 2 hours from Portland. The kind of trip where you forget your passwords and remember how stars look. The place was incredible. Solar-powered, wood-framed, no neighbors in sight. We read books, cooked over a campfire, hiked during the day, and drank wine under the trees at night. No social media, no noise, just quiet. On the last day, with our bags packed and the cabin keys dropped off in the lockbox, we ordered a Lyft to take us back to the city. Cell signal was spotty, but we managed to send the GPS location. About 15 minutes later, a dark SUV rolled up, windows tinted, engine purring low. The driver's name on the app was Derek. He stepped out with sunglasses still on, even though the sun was already dipping behind the hills. He smiled, a strange, dry kind of smile. Ready to head back to the real world? Rachel laughed. I forced a polite smile. We climbed in. At first, everything felt normal. Then I noticed we weren't taking the main road. Instead, he turned onto a dirt path that ran deep into the woods. I asked if the GPS had rerouted. Road construction up ahead, he said casually. This way's quicker. Rachel pulled up her phone to double check, but we'd lost signal. The blue dot was frozen. We were heading into an area with no homes, no traffic, and no way to call for help. This doesn't look right, Rachel said quietly. He didn't answer. Sir, could you please stop the car? I asked, trying to stay calm. Still nothing. Then suddenly he braked hard. The engine cut off. The forest around us swallowed all sound. End of the road, he muttered. I looked around. Nothing but trees and silence. He turned slowly, eyes cold now, smile gone. Out. Now. Our blood ran cold. Rachel gasped. We both tried the door locks, frozen. He stepped out and walked calmly around to the back seat. Then all hell broke loose. He yanked Rachel's door open and tried to pull her out. I threw myself between them, screaming at the top of my lungs. Rachel screamed too, louder than I'd ever heard her. We kicked, scratched, clawed, anything to stop him. "Shut up!" he roared, his face twisted with rage. But we didn't. We screamed louder and louder, and that's when we heard it. Somewhere in the distance, a slam, a bark, a man yelling. "Hey! What the hell is going on out there?" The driver froze. "And I called the police," the voice thundered. He looked around, panicked, started to back toward the car. A loud gunshot rang out, into the air. Birds scattered, leaves trembled. The driver bolted into the woods, but by the time the sheriff's SUV came tearing down the path, he was already being tackled to the ground by 2 deputies. We were shaking, filthy, sobbing. The man who saved us was a retired rancher named Walter, who lived half a mile away. He'd heard the screaming and knew something was wrong. He stayed by our side the entire time, saying, "You're safe now. I got you." His name wasn't Derek. The vehicle was stolen. The Lyft account had been hacked. Police said he was wanted in 3 other states with outstanding warrants, including assault and kidnapping. No one knew how he'd slipped through the system. Since then, Rachel's been in therapy. I have too. We've both stopped using rideshare apps altogether, and if we ever do, we double-check everything, name, face, license plate, twice. Because that scream in the woods, the one that saved our lives, still lives inside us. Sometimes silence isn't peaceful, it's dangerous. It was a Thursday night, almost 11 p.m. I'd just finished my second job, cleaning offices downtown. I was exhausted, my feet sore, my shirt damp from the rain. My last bus home left at 10:45. I missed it by 6 minutes. Walking wasn't an option. I lived over 5 miles away, and it was already dark. So I opened the Lyft app and requested a ride. It was expensive, but I didn't care. I just wanted to go home. A car arrived within 5 minutes. A silver sedan, clean, headlights dimmed. The driver rolled down the window slightly. "You Taylor?" he asked. I nodded. He looked like the photo in the app. Older, bald, wearing a black hoodie. Name on the screen, Carl J. I got in the back seat and thanked him. He nodded silently. No music, no GPS on the dash, just silence as we pulled away from the curb. After a few minutes, I noticed something strange. He wasn't taking the usual route. I asked if there was traffic or construction. "Nah, I just know a better way," he said casually. That didn't sit right with me. I pulled out my phone to check the map, but the screen was stuck. No signal. I couldn't see where we were. I looked outside and didn't recognize a single thing. Trees, dark roads, no streetlights, no other cars, just us. "Excuse me, I think we're going the wrong way," I said. He didn't respond. I reached for the door handle. It didn't open. The child lock was on. "Please stop the car," I said, my voice shaking. Still nothing. Then he spoke, softly. "We're almost there." The car came to a full stop. Engine off, no lights. We were deep in the woods, off a dirt road. He turned around slowly. His face was different now. Colder, blank. "I want to show you something." Then he got out. He walked around the back of the car and opened my door. He didn't grab me, not yet, just stood there, holding a flashlight, pointing it toward a clearing in the trees. "It's out there," he whispered. I was frozen. My body screamed to move, but my limbs wouldn't listen. Then, out of nowhere, I heard barking, then a man's voice. "Hey, who's out there?" Carl flinched. Another voice yelled, "I'm calling the cops!" Suddenly a shotgun blast rang out in the air. Carl spun around and ran into the woods. I slammed the car door shut, climbed into the front seat and tried the ignition. To my shock, the keys were still in. I floored it. I drove until I saw lights, got just enough signal to call 911. I gave them the location, the driver's name from the app, and everything I could remember. But Carl J. wasn't a real Lyft driver. The app showed my ride as cancelled. Somehow he had spoofed the app, matched my request, and intercepted it before a real driver could respond. Police found the car abandoned the next morning. They searched the woods but never found Carl. Turns out the farmhouse nearby belonged to an ex-cop named Bill Hawkins. He heard my screams, saw the car lights in the trees and fired a warning shot. Bill probably saved my life. Nobody knows who Carl really was. The car was stolen. The phone used to accept the ride was untraceable. He disappeared. Sometimes I still hear his voice. It's out there. Now, every time I take a Lyft, I check everything. Plate, name, even the driver's voice. Because that night I learned something terrifying. You don't have to go looking for danger. Sometimes it comes driving right up to you. I've been blind since I was 17. A car accident changed everything, but I learned to live with it. I'm independent, I get around fine with my cane, voice commands, and a bit of routine. That Tuesday was just like any other. I had a checkup downtown and planned to head straight home afterward. I missed my bus by less than 5 minutes, and walking wasn't an option. It was nearly 5 miles back to my apartment in Silver Spring, Maryland. I pulled up the Lyft app using voice control and ordered a ride with accessibility assistance. The driver's name was Mike. Seemed nice. 4.5 stars. Nothing suspicious. When he pulled up, I heard the car door open. "Mr. Allen, I'm Mike. Let me help you with your bag," he said, his voice warm, calm, and kind. He guided me into the car, helped me buckle my seatbelt, even asked if I wanted the windows down. It felt like the kind of ride you'd be lucky to get. Polite, quiet, helpful. When we arrived at my apartment building, Mike asked if I wanted help getting inside. "I'd appreciate that," I replied. It wasn't unusual. Most drivers just helped to the front door. But Mike went above and beyond. He walked me up all 3 flights of stairs, carried my bag, helped me unlock the door, and even made sure I got inside safely. "Glad I could help. Take care, Mr. Allen," he said before leaving. I smiled. That kind of kindness was rare, or so I thought. The next morning I reached over to my dresser to grab my watch. Gone. I checked the drawer where I kept my laptop. Empty. I felt around my bookshelf. The small safe box with my emergency cash, around $1,000, was missing. So was a gold bracelet my mum gave me before she passed. Gone. I froze. I knew I hadn't misplaced anything. I live alone. No guests, no mess. I called my nephew Chris. He came over and searched the entire place. We found nothing. My valuables weren't misplaced. They were stolen. Chris asked for the driver's name. I pulled up my phone using voice commands and checked the Lyft ride history. There was nothing. The last ride on the app said, "Cancelled." Wait, that makes no sense. You said he dropped you off, Chris said. He was right. I contacted Lyft's support. They ran my account and verified no completed ride had taken place that night. According to their system, no one had picked me up. I insisted I had used the app. I heard the confirmation. I heard the name, Mike. I rode in a black Toyota. I heard the beeps of the turn signals, smelled the car freshener. It all happened. But Lyft had no record of any driver named Mike assigned to me that day. No payment was charged, no trip logged. We called the police. There was no forced entry. The door was locked. Everything looked clean. The report was filed, but without security cameras in my building and no evidence, it went nowhere. All I had was a voice. A soft, reassuring voice. A thief's voice. Someone had intercepted my ride request. Somehow. Or had been watching. And that person now had my laptop, my valuables, and parts of my life I could never replace. It's been over 2 years. No arrests, no leads. Mike never showed up on any list. No facial recognition, no license plate. The cops think he may have used a spoofed account or a cloned vehicle. I never use rideshare apps alone anymore. I don't even open the door unless I know exactly who's on the other side. I double-check everything. I listen harder. Because that voice, calm, kind, calculated, still echoes in my head. He didn't rush. He didn't force. He waited, and then took everything.